I'll tell you later. And good afternoon and welcome to the special edition of Inside Sports Talk Radio. I'm Ian Rollins along with my colleague Earl Bass, and good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
All is well?
All is wonderful.
A special Thursday, that's what we're doing, huh?
Special Thursday?
Yeah, leading into the weekend, so we do an edition of Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Thursday. I know we usually do it once in a while.
Yeah.
We'll do it this Thursday and we'll do it next Thursday as well.
Okay.
Yeah? That's cool?
No problem.
I know you got a lot of guests to bring in, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, joining us in the studio right now is no stranger to Bermuda. I think her name is Dr. Gina Tucker, who has some exciting news she'd like to share with Bermuda, as they sent out a press release yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, regarding the Bermuda Half Marathon. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Tucker. How are you?
Yes, good afternoon, and good afternoon to Bermuda. I'm feeling really good. Yeah,
why is that?
That's getting really exciting. This is a first for the Derby, right? A very first. I don't think in my lifetime.
Really?
That we would have opened up registration and launched a new website. And,
new sponsors?
New sponsor and, all of that. It's exciting. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, why don't you share this exciting news to Bermuda?
Listen, it could not have been more synergetic. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Okay, synergetic.
You couldn't have gotten more synergy between the Derby and August. Right?
There you go.
August Insurance, who is a strong supporter of health and wellness.
For sure.
And just in our existence, we promote health and wellness. We believe everyone should run this race at least once in their lifetime. And if you were to start with the relay, then you start small, and then
work
you
your way
get big.
up.
I just jumped right in. I did the whole thing.
Obviously, you do it again then?
No, I'm not doing it again.
She said at least once.
At least once.
At least once. Take
Okay.
it off of your list. It's a rite of passage. You get it on, you get your little medal, and you're set. So, this year we have so many exciting things happening because it's our 110th. Did you know that? 110 years. What kind of race could be 110 years? Isn't that awesome?
That's history making.
That's awesome. So we thank all our sponsors over the years. Applebee last year, and they were with us for many, many years.
Many years.
And so we could not have made it here without the many sponsors. Pure Water, who supported us. And this year we're excited because our vision and our objective was to broaden the participation of the community, to bring the community back around this race and have them engaged and participated. So, Ian, we have a lot of exciting things happening for the Bermuda community this year.
You do.
Yes, a lot of exciting things. We have little draw prizes, big draw prize. Register early, you win big.
And you can register online,
You
correct?
can register online right now.
And the website address?
BermudaMarathon.bm. Real easy, pretty site.
Yeah.
Nice picture of the month coming through last year, coming through that finish line. My mom was like, and the people
That's the way you need to
it's
think.
beautiful.
That's the way you need to think.
That's a beautiful picture right there. Every time I open that website, I'm like, really, really, really like,
Girl.
you got a good shot of him.
I'm glad I was there.
I'm glad. I hope you're there again.
Well, I'm looking to be. No plans not to be there.
Oh my gosh. So prizes, people can get prizes throughout the next, where are we? Oh my gosh, 4 months now?
Yeah, 4 months.
February. So about 4 months, you get prizes, register early, be a first time runner,
Correct.
volunteer, come to the reception, just exist,
There's going to be some exciting news as well in the month of May, where for the first time, yes, there's going to be the time you come up on the Saturday before to pick up your registration, but there's going to be some exciting things happening there for the first time.
That's right.
So I don't know if you want to share that, you just want to hold back.
No, man, everything's out there. You're a blessing. But you got 4 months. I see the day already. For me, I'm like, this is just going to be a blink. So we're having a nice expo to, again, promote the health and wellness. It's important, while I don't run this race, I do remain active. You know that. I mean, I run with Flora,
Right.
I run with her race,
So
you're passing the water on to her, right?
She has a picture of it in her pocket.
But I am a believer that everyone, Bermuda needs to get around the health and wellness space.
It's
and
important.
So our expo will present the opportunity for people to really see the things that are out there in relation to fitness and wellness and health. And we're inviting There's vendors out there that are interested in participating in this to go online and sign up and let us know that you're interested. We bring about close to 800 people to that event, maybe 1,000 people.
Yeah, usually average between 750 800 the last 3 years.
That's right. That's still the individual.
Individuals, relays, combined, everything's up close to 1,000. You're correct about that.
And the expo is open to the public,
right?
So they can come and see the runners getting their, just participate in that time that the runners come to collect their bags. They can bring family, friends, everyone to come and just enjoy this time of.
And this expo is going to be on the 18th of May.
That's right.
That's the Saturday before the May 24th, which is obviously on the 24th of May this year.
That's right.
So that's also going to be taking place at August, correct?
That's right. August parking lot on Truck Road.
On Truck Road, big parking lot.
Big parking lot. We just looked at it.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's nice.
So it's going to be happening.
It's going to be happening.
Thanks to August and all your sponsors.
Yeah, all our sponsors. And I have to say them. I will call them out. It's a nice chunk of them. Boris and Lightone, Icelandic water is the only water you should be drinking. Are you drinking it?
I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm even drinking pool water.
That one right. Bill, that one right there.
I didn't tell you the story.
Oh, well done. You drowned a couple of times.
I had to call you in a water truck service.
I didn't want to tell him that this is how it starts, right?
Yo,
I know.
I'll let you finish, then I'll fill you in.
Then you fill me in.
Give your credits to your
Icelandic, BGA, Applebee is still there. Thank you, Applebee. Rubus and Ray Clan are coming together. Beyond Fitness, Skyport, Fairmont, Southampton, The Reefs, Smilers Tuning and Repair, Travel Edge, and of course on the People's Day, the People's Race, you have to have what? People's Pharmacy.
There you go. Wow, that's a lot of sponsors.
That's really, really cool because in the dream of mine, it was seeing the community really come back
to embrace
and rally around this event and take the stage, get on the stage. So
and it's coming from your hometown this year, St. George's.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
it's
St.
coming
George's.
from the east.
So
110.
110 coming out of St. George's. That's cool. That's
really
real
cool.
Yeah.
No, listen, it's the stars lined up, right? 110, 24th on the 24th.
There you go.
St. George's, August, and all of the crew, right?
Yeah.
August,
it all came together.
It all came together. It's cool.
And the copies in Somerset. Gotcha.
The cops in Somerset.
I had to put that in there.
Yeah, he's got to get Somerset in there.
I got to put Somerset in there. Come on, I never leave them out.
That's right. We start off the
summer festivities by saying this is where Copman's going to be this year.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah. Well done. Keep up the good work. It seems like a lot of things are going to be unfolding over the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And again, thank you to all your sponsors. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. You guys have raised the bar this year. Your committee has raised the bar, putting things back into the community and new events, new sponsors coming on board, new ideas, new marketing tools. So the listeners and the audience participation will be out there.
Please stay tuned. And it wouldn't be right, Ian, if I didn't thank my committee.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, my committee. I got an awesome task team committee who's taking on some various spaces. So yeah, it wouldn't be right. Thank you to the committee, awesome committee. Ian, you know about that committee?
I know about it.
Just
a little bit. Just a little bit about that committee. Every other Tuesday.
Every other Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's been about 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're celebrating halfway there, New Year celebration. Yeah.
You enjoy your fish Tuesday night?
It was good.
Yeah.
Lionfish. Yeah.
Lionfish.
Yeah. At our meeting.
There you go.
Yeah. It was good.
Is there anything you'd like to add? I know you got a busy schedule ahead of you.
I just want to again thank our sponsors, thank Bermuda. We know that this is an event that they look forward to. We look forward to your participation. Get online, take a look at the site. There's something you can do. If you're not running the full, you're running the relay, you're volunteering, you're coming to the expo, you're doing something that's around this. Or we have some other exciting, remember? My best video clipping that's coming, my best picture that's coming. So there's something
of everything
that everyone can do.
There's generally a lot of talk about the time.
Yes, I know.
Have we addressed that or had a chance to discuss that?
I just want the community to know that I continue to work on that. I really do. We're going to send a survey because I think that's what I'm going to have to do. We're sending a survey this year, and one of the questions is going to be about the time. And I'm going to ask all runners, all participants, even the fans and community has to get on because it affects them as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And so when you do run, like I do. I try to run. That's how I really finish my race with Flora. It's hot.
Right.
It's very hot,
Right.
and I appreciate that. So I think we will have to. I know we've received some comments about the time. People are disappointed. I know disappointed that we didn't move it. But that's the way I'm going to have to do this. If I can get the data to see how people feel, then we can really promote it right away and let people know right after this race, that we're going to really look at it.
It's interesting what Dr. Tucker said. It's the heat
Yeah.
after the race.
Yeah.
In April. This was in
I
April
know,
when
it's
she
in
she
April.
competed.
Yeah.
We're talking May 24th, like
I know.
4 or 5 weeks later.
No.
You got
No.
humidity takes over after a while as well. So,
Right.
It's crazy.
yeah.
And I'm talking about when I'm training for that race. So
Right.
even bring it back 3 weeks, even bring it back early April. In early April, I can feel the intensity, and it's no joke.
Right.
But some people seem to feel that that's part of doing the Derby.
Yeah, but things are different now. We got
And they wake up the next day and say, man, I missed the parade. And don't even realize that they'll miss the second half of the race because they don't remember it.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's
It's
right.
too
Yeah.
too much. So that's something we're going to put back on the table.
Mhm.
It's going to be in one of our survey questions for sure. So people can look out for that, everyone.
All right.
Yeah, because the community will have to wake up about an hour earlier and get on that street an hour earlier.
Right.
It's all right. It's on a Friday.
This, every year it's on a Friday.
It's on a Friday now, so it's all
I
right.
hope
You
we
get
get
up
it
an
on
extra hour
this
early.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
Maybe you're right.
Anyway, I'm excited.
I'm
just
happy
so
for you.
excited.
I'm happy for you.
And thanks again. Thanks for
No problem.
having us up, and
Sure.
we'll be back.
I'm sure, and we'll
Yeah.
inform the public on what the updates are going to be happening.
That's
Things can be unfolding as we roll new information out about this year's race
That's right.
for 2019, the 110th.
110. It's
Coming out of St.
big.
George's.
It's big. You don't want to miss it.
No, be
You don't
there.
want to miss it. Be there. Be in it. Be
Be in the
with
square.
it. Yeah, be in the square.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Alrighty.
Tucker. We're going to take a commercial break and be back after this.
Alrighty. Okay.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baster.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio on this Thursday, February the 7th. We have two special guests in studio with us from the sport of rugby. We have newly appointed, is it newly appointed? Oh, you've been around for a while now. A veteran, Jamie Barnwell.
6 months.
Yeah, and Gillian Cross.
Yes.
We want to talk a bit about the women's side of the game, which is steadily growing fast in the region, not only in Bermuda, but it's growing fast in the region. You guys have been to several tournaments now. Tackle has been the specialty.
That's right.
Only because it's now becoming a favorable event in the Commonwealth, the Pan Ams, and looking to get into the Olympics as well, as far as women and playing the sevens rugby. So from a coach's standpoint, how important is it that we continue this trend of getting more females into the sport?
Really important, Earl. It's the most important thing we have on our agenda right now.
Right.
I guess if we can rewind the clock, because we were here.
Yes.
We were here last time we spoke. We were just about to head out to the Rugby Americas North Championships,
Mm-hmm.
and that was in when was that? That was in September time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at that point in time, we had 10 players realistically that were playing contact rugby at that point in time. Now, of course, that may have changed over the history, but at that point in time, we had 10 that were regularly at training.
Right.
We scrambled around. We found, thankfully, we got some other players who were overseas had come along, and thankfully they did. So we had a squad of 12 when we went to Rugby Americas North, and somehow we managed to improve on our 2 places. So we went from 10th to 8th place.
Right.
Excellent. So, but as soon as we got back on the island, the first thing we needed to do was we needed to come up with a plan to get more women involved in rugby. So, I think I'll let Gillian talk about this, but there was the birth of an initiative called Inner Warrior.
Yes, so we came off RAN, and as Jamie said, when we kind of got scraped together for RAN. Actually, I got injured before that tournament, so I couldn't participate, but we had a dedicated team that put great effort into that RAN tournament, and of course our standing changed as a result. So we came back and we're like, what now? What do we do? So we kicked off this Inner Warrior initiative, and it's basically a 4-week program where we invited young women, or women in general, to come out and try rugby. And it started off, and we were amazed at the numbers that came out for that. I went to all the session, and I've been playing rugby for some time now, and I'm still excited about every training session because you learn something new every time. So it's been growing. We've got quite a large number of young players coming out. We've got some more mature women coming out as well.
Especially the coach involved in some of the training sessions as well.
Yes.
And when I say involved, I mean involved.
Yes.
Earl's alluding to a training session we saw me and was busy laughing on the sideline as I was struggling to keep up. That's what he's referring to.
Yeah, so the Inner Warrior Initiative was the catalyst, to where we are now, and the goal is, of course, is to continue to develop the program in Bermuda. As you've said, it is an international sport. It's been on the Olympic agenda for a few years now, and hopefully Bermuda will get to the stage where we are able to actually participate in the Olympic Games.
The game, we play a lot of touch here, but as we see internationally, it's a lot of contact. It's a lot of tackling. How much time do you give it to change in the domestic game so people get used to it? Because you don't want to be playing, or I guess you're hoping not to be playing a lot of touch in your regular league and then go to an international tournament and it's one of the first times in a real meaningful game situation that someone's getting tackled. How do you land? How do you protect yourself? How do you, because all that comes into play if you're doing it on a regular basis.
That's right, and it's about starting early enough. So probably the most exciting development in the women's game at the moment has been this launch of our women's academy, and it was launched in January 2019 on the back of the Inner Warrior.
Right.
There's 18 at the moment. There's an initial draft of 18 girls involved in that, ranging from 12 years old to 17 years old.
Right.
Now, Gillian will tell you, a lot of the girls will either get involved post 16, 17 years old, or they're a lot older than that, and I think the old generation have made the transition from touch to contact. This is a new breed of girls. They're playing contact,
right,
and none of them very little of them have played touch before.
Right.
So for them, this is their norm. Yeah. So then they're and it's the first entry point for these girls into the contact game.
Right.
And it's the first of its kind. Our playing numbers they've times 4 in 4 months. So we've gone from having that 8, we're now over 40 players,
right,
of which half of those are in the academy.
Right.
These girls have been selected, really, they're aspiring athletes with standout characteristics. That's the key here.
Right.
And those characteristics are absolutely fundamental for them to be able to develop further and to potentially represent Bermuda.
Right.
And this is kind of at the point in time where we're at. But it's a really exciting, and there's some, there's a good team of people behind this. We're sitting here today, but the Gemma Godfreys, the Jane O'Shaughnessy's, the BRFU, the Footmika to me, the players as well. We've got a lot of Carly Elaine and Danica Borden and Liz Marie have just gone and got their level 1 referees qualifications.
Right.
So we're on the touching stone now of the birth of a contact league.
Oh, okay.
It's coming.
Gillian, for you, a lot of these girls in the community, in the academy, they're not got background in the sport of rugby. They come from different sports. So what do you see in them that you pick up when you see them put through their paces?
It's so fascinating, and I always say to Jamie, I'm tickled every time I see these young ladies, because their attitudes, their behaviors, they want to try something new, and this is what we're encouraging, just try something different.
Right.
And they come in, wanting to understand and wanting to learn more about this sport of rugby, because again, it is new to Bermuda. It is new for these young ladies, as Jamie alluded. They're not familiar with the touch concept.
Right.
They're coming in contact, which is what the global scene is looking for. So it's these individuals, they're not new to sports per se,
right,
so they have those characteristics that you would expect in someone who is part of a team sport. So they are listening to the coaches, they're putting the effort in, they're showing up on time, and that's what is part of what makes us want them to be a part of this team and part of the academies, that drive to learn something.
Jamie, I watched a bit last night where you had them kind of getting loose balls. So they're anticipating picking up a ball, but they're also anticipating a tackle coming at the same time. Were you? I couldn't hear what you were trying to get them to understand, but was that a drill in getting the ball, securing it first, and then wait for the contact?
Yeah, so they've worked progressively. So the most important, that was their first proper contact session.
Okay.
So we believe in playing a lot of games. So games through understanding.
Right.
That's the best way we learn a lot. When you go,
ball goes everywhere.
Yeah. Well, what we don't want is from a coaching perspective. What we don't want is we don't want cues of people and limited contact with the ball.
Right.
We want people playing the game, because that's how you understand the game. And of course, as players, when we all used to play, well, Gillian, she's still going, but we'd want to play the game. That's the exciting part. But no, so for them last night, they were they were making sure that they enjoy the contact with each other. They feel they get confidence in it. But yeah, we were learning how to bridge and compete for the ball. That's what they were doing yesterday.
Yeah. And well, I often say, and I don't know about anyone else, but I often say it's easier to teach a female something new because they're always willing to try it, where some of the younger men are saying, well, why are we doing it? It's not like that. Are you finding that where they're open to, when the coach says, go jump over that fence, they just try to go jump over the fence.
Do you know what? In my experience, yes and no. In my experience, you tend to find that when you just set something up, there is a huge difference between males and females. From my experience in coaching, and I mean that in absolute the positive way.
Right.
There's a lot of science will tell you that the women's brain is wired different to the men's, and I'm pleased it is, really, because we need somebody to be responsible. But no, when you're dealing with females, I think there's a couple of golden rules. The first thing is the 5-to-1 ratio rule, and that is you have to give 5 positives to any helpful critique, and the critique has to be sandwiched in the middle somewhere.
Right.
But guys will tend to just, if you say something, they'll tend to do it. The women will tend to ask the question why. So I think for any aspiring coaches, if you want to get really good, coach a women's team, because they will ask you why are you doing it, and if you can't give them an answer, you're in trouble. So yeah, that tends to be my experience of it. But
I would agree. We need to understand why we're doing what we're doing, so we can be more effective, in delivering what the coach is looking for.
Julian, what's the transition been like for you from going from touch to tackle?
The funny thing, I get asked that question a lot. When I started playing touch, I hadn't played, rugby before. Actually, I haven't heard of rugby when I started in 2012. And I started at the late in the season, and there was something about, the camaraderie, the speed, the tactical aspect of it that just triggered something in my brain. And I was like, this is amazing. And I got off the back of touch, and I was like, what's next? There's got to be more to this rugby thing. And I got introduced to contact. And I got injured actually on the first training session, but that didn't deter me from continuing because it was new. It was exciting. I learned something new every time I step on that pitch. You're learning from the coach, you're learning from your teammate, and you're developing as a individual. On and off the pitch. It strengthens you, it puts you in situations where you have to make quick decisions, and you have to back yourself, you have to support your teammate, and at the same point you don't want to let anyone down. So transition for me was quite easy, because there was just this thing about the sport that just fired up this energy.
One thing I notice, Ian, when I'm watching touch, I can tell the ones that have been through the training of tackle. Okay. Because their touch is a little stronger than others. Right. And because they're getting used to running through a tackle as opposed to running, stopping, and putting 2 hands on someone. Right. So you'll see the person that does more of the tackle continue to run. Their momentum takes them to, I can't grab. I mean, I have to touch. And then, right. So it's interesting to watch it, and you could sit there and say, okay, that person does tackle. Yeah. But are you still enjoying?
Oh, yes. I enjoy it every day. The funny thing with the younger generation that's coming in now, and, watching them develop, and I go to all the sessions. I don't have to go to the development sessions, but I go to the development session because it's still fun. No matter what you think there's always something else to learn. And I'm learning every day with this new generation that's coming in. They're teaching me more than I would have ever expected. So I still enjoy it. I still go to the training session. I'm still learning.
Where do you see Bermuda down the road, now that you've introduced tackle? Both of you have been in this sport for quite some time now, but from a coaching perspective and player perspective, we hear from the coach first. We see
that's a really good question, Ian, and that's probably the most important question, because I think sometimes what we want to do is we want to create something which is ongoing. So irrelevant of who's around, a lot of things can be personality driven. So we've got 1 or 2 people who are giving their time and putting something, and that's how sometimes good things start, isn't it? It's just a few good people trying to make a difference. We want to try and at some point be able to, whoever is involved, if those people at the moment, if they could step out and it continues, that's what we want to do. That's really important. So it doesn't just all fall down and disappear. The vision moving forwards would be, the immediate vision is to keep growing.
Gotcha.
The long term, there is incredible talent on this island.
Right.
Incredible talent. You watch the boys on the Wednesday, which has been fantastic. Which is, if you look 3 years ago, it wasn't in place.
Right.
We're going to try and get to that stage. So we have the women's, the girls are in there.
Right.
But beyond that, there's the Youth Olympics in 2 years. Yeah, and there's Olympic funding there.
Right.
Imagine, I'm just going to throw this out, but imagine if we could find 24 girls that were interested and that were the right people, and we pick them out and we work with them and they're funded, and just see what happens. Because the talents.
Because all you're asking really for is athletes. You're not asking for rugby players.
We're asking. This is correct. Right. So the Chinese had a great program called Program 101, where they highlighted 101 sports in the Olympics that they thought in a 4-year period they could select athletes,
right,
and just coach them and work with them. And that's not too dissimilar. We select the athletes. And of course, things will change into as people drop. There'll be lots of different. People's lives are important. The athlete's important. But we start with a dream. See what happens. As long as we've got people who we're doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
People, and it's part of this academy being successful is the fact that we put the tagline for us is better people, better athletes. We put the people first.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, the character development. That's really important because we want them to learn from rugby things that will help them in life, to go get a job, to go to university, to become how you become successful.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what we are really pushing as well. Yeah.
Right.
As a player, Gillian?
I can just echo what Jamie has said. Short term, we want to build. We want to and part of the reason why we're here is to talk about the sport of rugby. It's not a man's sport. It's a sport. And we give respect to all the sports out there, and we're saying here's another one where you can try it out. If you don't like it, it's okay. But we're saying just for a woman's perspective, it is growing. It's different from the other sports that are around there, and we're inviting people to just be part of what we think is going to be a big thing for Bermuda. Yes, Bermuda is small, but we are big.
Right.
We have talent, and you've seen it, Earl. You've seen the ladies that are representing in football, in cricket. We have talent. You don't have to be limited to one sport either. So, come out, see what we're doing, and hopefully we can build something that Bermuda will be extremely proud of, because we are proud of where we are right now.
I'm going to put you on the spot now because he's sitting next to you. When introduced to Jamie and he started to run sessions and get into organizing the women's side of the game, what were your impressions?
Where have you been?
Oh, wow. She was eager.
Jamie brings something different, and every coach has something different, and giving his background in sports psychology and working with women, he's brought something that we haven't seen before. Typically, the coaches we've had in the past are more used to working with the men's side of things, so understanding the way the women, reacts and respond. This is something that Jamie has differently from the other coaches that we've been on. So it was a very good introduction when he came on, to help us, get through the last tournament. And I've continued since that, tournament to be part of the team, which is, I'm not sure how he does it. I don't think this was the plan initially, but he came in and is giving us 110%, and we can only respond by giving 125%.
Yeah. Jamie, the press release came out about the new coaching system that's been introduced by Bermuda Rugby, which kind of gives you a big plate doing the men and the women. How do you envision splitting up that time to ensure that you are able to give each team what it needs to drive forward?
Well, at the moment, I'm still jobless, as like last time, so I'm a volunteer.
Yeah.
And so therefore it gives it, I do have the time. I think there's a little bit more pressure this time around because there's some of the men's competitions has been brought forward.
Right.
So that puts us under extreme pressure. There's a clash of men's sevens, men's 15s, women's sevens. They've brought the Rugby America's North competition to an earlier, which was just putting a bit of pressure. We've managed to find out. I think in the short term it's a challenge, but we figured it out.
Right.
And then I think over the longer term, it's really important that with any coaching staff, you build a team around a team. It's never one person. You cannot operate a team scenario like that.
Right.
So there's been a lot of work on building the right people. We have a lot of players in the men's side of the game who are outside of Bermuda as well. Some of them on scholarships in the States. Some of them are playing high level in the Welsh Premiership. And so the first appointment we kind of made was we've got an international player liaison manager, which is James O'Shaughnessy. And he's got a bit of a vested interest in it because his two sons are and he's got a daughter involved as well. But that's great, and we can buy into his expertise. And then we've also got a team manager who's helping out as well, Keith Mahon, who assists in and we've also got ourselves an analysis guy who's actually working from overseas, and he's created a platform for all of our players. So the day after the games, day after training, he will be able to forward everybody to their individual email accounts all their key performance indicators that we look at in the team. So we've made inroads with that, and there's a long way to go. We've got a lot of games coming up on the men's side of things very shortly. We've got Princeton next week, and then we've got Jamaica coming up real quick as well. There's actually 6 national team games in 3 months, which is when we're used to playing maybe 3 in a year. So, but this is great for the players. The challenge is they've got to combine that with all their club fixtures, which is takes a stress on the body. So some training sessions, we're not going to be not hammering. Not all hammering out. It's going to be a little bit.
From an outsider's point of view, where do you think Bermuda's strength lies in the men and in the women? Is it the 15s or the 7s?
It's easier to organise the 7s, and I mean that with extreme respect. What I mean is there's less numbers involved. So when you've got a squad of 12, you only need 12 players that are available and committed, as opposed to perhaps a squad of at least 23 for the men's, at least. One of the first things that we've done is we've taken we've actually started the elite player development group, where we've invited 52 players, and 12 of those are under 19s, because it's really important we get the youth transition into the senior team. And Dan Roberts does a lot of good work with the under 19s, and we're trying to make that bridge at the moment, and it's slowly and surely it's coming into place. So what we're finding is the more those youngsters are getting involved with players who are perhaps a little bit more experienced as well, the more that the learning is going to rub off on them, and that's what we want. And they're actually showing it on a Wednesday. I think if you look at those players who are perhaps more involved, they're really doing things on a Wednesday in the schools league, which they just look more comfortable. And the game happens slower at a younger age as well. So they're used to that. For that's a slower speed than perhaps even what they're doing at training. So we've got a big squad of players of which we're really working with, and each one of those is important. Everybody. So it doesn't answer your question, kind of. Which is easy. The strength lies in
numbers. Obviously, it would always be numbers driven for Bermuda, because we don't have the volume that other countries will be blessed with. So I'm with you on the 7s because of sheer numbers. We've in the past had some strong 15 teams, but again, if we can get a strong 12 guys doing the 7s, then I think that's where our strength lies, in the shorter version of the game. And I'm pretty much sure that I would get a lot of agreements from even rugby players.
Yes, and of course the clubs play a huge part in all of this, because the schools is all happening on a Wednesday, which you see the school system, which has been brilliant kind of brainchild of Paddy Callow, who's the director of rugby on the island. That's really growing, and the next part is that those players hopefully will move into the clubs. So the clubs have a huge part to this legacy as well, and they're doing a great job with getting the numbers in, with the pressures and the resources that they have, in dealing with those. And there's lots of other things around coaching and medical and referees, and there's a lot there that has to come together. But they're all doing a great job of trying to push it.
Well, I do want to thank you both for coming and sharing with us and bringing us up to speed on the sport of rugby, especially on the women's side, because I think it's important that women in sports get the same recognition that, because as you did say, Jillian, it's a sport. It's not a men's sport. It's a sport, and women do play it as well. So we look forward to obviously matches this weekend, but international matches coming up, and hopefully we get to see those youngsters who have been turning out on Wednesdays and in your training sessions put on the Bermuda jersey in the very near future. So good luck.
We want to thank you, Earl, for coming out. You know, you are a big supporter. And we always see you out on the games on Saturday,
yes.
and you're getting in on the weekdays as well. And you know, we do follow you and see that you're picking up on rugby,
yes.
and you know, including it in your daily report. So we really appreciate that, because you know, you're a big supporter and you're getting to the community, and we want the community to be aware of what's going on in all sports.
Not a problem at all. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to take our commercial break and then break for the news, and we'll be back after the news break with more Inside Sports Talk Radio.
Sports Talk Radio has been presented to you by and co-host Earl Baston.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Joining us in the studio right now is Vicky Abraham and Betty. Last name?
Doyling.
Doyling Beard, last name. Please
okay.
accept my apology.
No worries.
It's that time of the year. World Triathlon. Oh, damn. Is that close?
Can you believe it's been almost a year since the last MS Emlyn World Triathlon when we saw Flora Duffy racing down Front Street and everyone behind her?
She just
Incredible
dominated.
Day, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
last time
And
we
we're
spoke,
here
you
again.
said that you were going to compete in 2019.
No, I think that was you saying you were going to compete.
I said I'm working.
I think Earl and I were saying that you are going to work on it.
Right,
As in,
exactly. Working
work
on
on
the
your
event.
training.
Work on the event.
So this is why Betty Doyle's in the studio today, because she is going to help you with your training.
Oh, really? Okay, thank you. Putting me foot
Got
forward,
you
huh?
covered. I
Got-
always have your back.
There you
Ian.
go. That's what I like. That's what I like. But no seriousness, the event is April 27th this year, 2019. Just give us an update where we are right now.
Yeah, so it's fantastic to be here because it's funny how many people I speak to about this event and they say, oh, it's on again this year?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so it's really important for people to know that, yep, it's on again
again.
this year, which is, what did we say, 77 days away.
77 days away.
And it's also on again next year because we won this bid
That's
for
right.
3 years in a row for Bermuda to host the World Triathlon Series. So, and not to forget that in 2021, Earl's smiling because he knows what I'm going to say. The ITU Triathlon World Championships and Grand Finals. So that's a really big deal.
That's
We'll
huge.
talk about that later.
That's right, yeah.
So yeah, it's people can expect much of the same in that there'll be just as much excitement, just as huge crowds on Front Street, just as many incredible world-class elite athletes racing through Hamilton on Saturday afternoon, and of course before that is the hundreds of age group athletes who we hope to encourage over the next few weeks to participate. And there's all kinds of incentives for people to join in. So if they've never done a triathlon before, Betty's going to speak a little bit about that in a minute, about how to get involved, and she's going to do some strength training, and it's really not as hard as it sounds.
Sounds like you've
I've
been
seen
done.
Betty train. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm taking
The
Earl's
training's
advice. I'm
harder
taking
than the
Earl's advice.
triathlon.
Yeah?
How's that?
So you've done the training then?
I've seen the training.
I've seen the training. What anything going to be different this year regarding the course? What was the feedback from the competitors or even the fans themselves about the course?
The fans loved the course because they were so close to the action.
That's true.
If you remember Corkscrew Hill, right at the top of Corkscrew Hill, that got really crowded later in the day, and you can see why. You see racers pushing their way up the hill. It was super exciting. You're right there. You can almost touch them. And so it's like that all the way through the course. And
Okay.
what we expect this year is just more people out earlier to support the age groupers as well. As far as the course itself, and it's important for people who live on the course to also prick your ears up now, and we'll be getting lots more information out about this in the coming weeks, that the course is primarily the same. So if you lived on the course and you were one of those people who couldn't move their car in the morning and had to plan a little bit around the event, it's that time to start thinking about that again for Saturday, April 27th. But there is one small change in the course of the age group course, which is the morning race, simply because there was a point there around City Hall car park where people were coming, the racers were coming in Church Street, and there was a bit of a danger point. There were a couple of deck outs, so good for the cameras, but not so good for the competitors.
Right.
So that's been made a little safer.
Okay.
And that information, again, the details will all be available very soon.
Cool.
And a lot of this is on the website already. If people want to go to trybermuda.com, that information is also there.
As for the times, the event's still going to remain the same.
Yes.
As per last year.
The age group will start around 7 in the morning, and then it was the men's race at 1 and the women's race at 4. We do it a little bit different to other world triathlons because we want to feature the women's race naturally. And speaking of such, our wonderful world champion Flora Duffy will be back on home soil, and she's announced publicly that she is training for this event. So Bermuda, let's get behind her. Let's be that wind beneath her wings again. And yeah, she's a comeback kid this time.
Sure.
Not the reigning world champion, but that doesn't mean she's not going to be it again.
Right. As for competitors, what are the numbers looking like? Are we going to see the world-class athletes again in the male and female?
Yes, absolutely. So you're looking
Points
at
up for
about
grabs.
110 in total, male and female. And as Earl said, they now, are in the running to score points for the Olympic Games. So that was different to last year. And Earl can probably even give more information about that.
The 9 they have this year are critical for points towards qualifying for the Olympics, because it's not just one event.
Right.
And then when you progress to the grand final, you're pretty much almost guaranteed to be qualified for the Olympics. But in the grand final, there's still an outside chance you can get in, because they only take, I believe, for the Olympics, it's 35, where we have 55 in the triathlons. And actually, the series gets underway this weekend.
Wow, perfect.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, this weekend.
And where is it going to be held this week?
It's in the Netherlands.
Okay.
This weekend, I think. I can't remember, but I believe
We'll
it
have
is.
to look it up on Bermuda.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Flora is not taking part this weekend.
No. I
She's
think
still
she might be saving herself for Bermuda.
Yeah. She's still doing her training
That's how it goes.
regiment in South Africa, where she's back running. There was some concerns about that, but she's worked her way back. So it's only a matter of time before she's back in action. And I think she's going to compete before she actually competes in Bermuda, because that will just push her over the edge for when she comes back. And we all still remember the look on the face of the cyclist that was next to her at the bottom of Corkscrew when Flora turned the wheels and left her there like she was she had gotten off due to a flat or something. But I know Flora's determined to come back and put on another show, which I think a lot of people will be looking forward to. Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to, and I think we owe it to her to be there, regardless of how she performs.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic comeback series. And also to your point about elite triathletes, Javier Gomez Noya making a comeback to ITU World Championships, ITU World Triathlon Series. Purely for those Olympic points. Yeah. He has his eye on the Olympic too. That's Spain's top male athlete. But he'd moved over to the Ironman.
Oh, wow.
And he's making his comeback in this sport now because he wants the Olympic points, and his comeback begins in Bermuda.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
so the more eyes on Bermuda. So just for that little part of it from Spain.
As for the local side,
yes.
You said from the beginning that you like to see more participants or companies participate more. The numbers were big last year. Can you think of a percentage, maybe 10 or 15% will come on board this year for competitors?
As an increase?
Yes.
Should we just make a number now? Should we say 20% more?
Whoa.
Should we go for that? Nothing like a target to focus the mind, right?
20%. Yeah.
I think it's entirely possible. Knowing that sprint relay is a 5K run. Now, we talked about this before. Who can't do a 5K run, right? Get out there, start training. It's a 750-meter swim. You find another friend who will do the 20K bike, and you do the 5K run, and you have yourself a team. And Betty's going to help you get there.
A 750-meter swim. Am I going to go 12 meters, though?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't say no more.
That's why you find a swimmer friend.
Earl, I'll have to fill you in, do you?
Well, we got Off here. Betty. I'm going to go to Betty because when someone comes to you and says, "Listen, I've never done this before, but I'm willing to try it," as a coach of someone, putting them in the right fitness space to attempt to complete a 750-meter swim, a 20K bike ride, a 5K run, what are you telling them before you actually physically take them through a regimen?
I'm telling them to start and stay committed. That's the biggest thing, to make all their training sessions. So let's just say if they have some speed work, which they'll be doing a lot with us at Be Active for Life, we'll be doing a lot of speed work, strength training. I'll tell them to start with their 2 to 3 days at least, getting their training sessions in. That's really where they really just need to show commitment first. And once that's done.
Now, I've seen you train. So for those that haven't seen Betty trained, listen, okay. Right. Only go if you're serious about commitment.
Yes.
We said, the training looks harder than the triathlon.
Yes.
It doesn't look. It actually is.
And they can't just see me train and think that that's what I'm going to give them. Most likely it's not.
Right.
Yes.
But the emphasis and focus on a beginner
Yes.
looking to do this, because we would have had quite a few beginners that people have never done the triathlon, but because it's here in Bermuda, I think I could try that. And you know, it's we want to make sure that people are physically up to it to ensure that they're making the best decision, because trust me, after a 750-meter swim and then to get on a bike and ride it for 20 kilometers and then to do a run, it's tough on the body, because if you're not used to taking in the nutrition, the drinks, to take in the salt that you need and all that during that. So during your training, are you also working on making sure that they understand the signs that they need, that their body's going to go through?
Yes, by doing the different exercises such as squats with weights or squats without weights, and especially if they're a beginner, most likely they'll be coming in doing things a little lower impact to begin with. And then they'll start to increase as an 8-week program, so they'll have plenty of time to get in shape with that. They'll also be working on their core strength, which will help a lot sitting on the bike. Swimming, they'll be working on muscles in their back and their shoulders, which will help keep them stable, and then also work on their strokes in the water.
When does your program start?
February the 26th.
Okay, and you say it's for 8 weeks. That leads us up to
April 18th.
Okay, a week before, or just 9 days before. Okay.
So you're handheld throughout.
Oh wow.
Doesn't that sound comfortable?
Is it once a week or is it twice a week?
It's twice a week. And
And
if we need to add an additional day, we can do that as well.
and
depending
each
on
session is
sign-up.
what, 45,
An
90
hour.
minutes? Yeah, hour?
An hour.
All right, cool. And what time?
They will be at 5:45 on Mondays and Wednesdays at Bulls Head Car Park.
Can't make it.
Oh, she does special personal training too.
Yes, I also do that
Well,
as well.
Radio talk show
I have my training on Monday, Wednesday morning at 5:45. That's
There
why I
might be
said I
a
can make
Sunday
it.
class too.
Yeah.
There is a Sunday class I've already been taking through.
Oh, well.
Yes, but
Good
there will
try,
be a
Vicky.
variety of exercises, running as well. My husband as well, Stephen Doyling, he will step in on some of the sessions. He used to be a Bermuda's triathlete, 1994, I believe he said. But he used to do lots of triathlons here as well, so that he'll be there to answer any questions that they may have.
Now, in your training, do you take them through an actual triathlon routine? Like they'll do a swim, do a bike, and then do a run all in the same like session? Not having to complete the whole course, but are they getting used to that?
I will advise them to do that part outside, so they're biking and they're swimming. Believe it or not, the running that they have with me will be probably sufficient. Maybe I'll suggest that they go on something by themselves as well. But with the strength training and the speed work as well, they'll be able to run their 5K efficiently.
For Vicky, the organization's message to someone, because we had earlier we had Dr. Gina Tucker with the Half Marathon Derby, and we see a lot of people just signing up and taking part. Some don't train; they just do it. And again, I stress the importance of knowing what signs your body's giving you, because if you don't train and you don't, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to finish. So what is the well, not the committee, but is the way it's set up? Are instructions given or advice given as far as making sure that it is something you're signing up for, that you really understand what you're signing up for?
I think you'll find on the front end, before you register, it's as simple as one line that says, participants should be fit and healthy, right? Very basic stuff. But once you're in the process of signing up, there's waivers that really starts to express the seriousness of what you're entering into. This is all about personal responsibility. However, I'll say that, what I like to encourage people to do when they're novices is the team relay. And you have the choice of whether you do the sprint, the shorter distance, or the Olympic standard distance. If you are fit enough but only want to do one of the disciplines or two, then that's an option. There's so many ways to tackle this, right? And I know that there's a number of people who did the group relay last year, and they've told me already that they're registering to do the whole thing. Right? Okay. So they enjoyed it so much that they decided to add the other disciplines, and they've been doing the training since. So really, as a novice, I always think the best way to enter is gently,
Right.
and to choose one discipline that you enjoy the
Yeah.
most, or maybe the discipline that you're not strongest at and you want to strengthen. You know, if you're not a great swimmer but you like it, then be the swimmer of the
Right.
team.
Right.
Right? Get out there, train for it, and then by the next year, maybe you want to do 2 or 3 disciplines.
Betty, for not everyone grows the same pace and time as far as training. When you recognize someone is not progressing as fast as others, do you suggest maybe an extra class here and there to make sure that that person, the 8-week program that you're giving, is they're to where they need to be come race day?
Yes, definitely. We also work in pairs. Well, I'll pair them with someone I feel that they should work with, maybe someone to push them a little harder, or maybe someone in their same fitness bracket as well, which I think helps a lot just to push them ahead. And I would also advise them, especially with nutrition. I think nutrition is a big aspect in keeping them fit and maintaining their fitness level, because if they are just training with me and then just going home and having their fried chicken, it's not really going to work.
It defeats the purpose.
It totally defeats the purpose.
That would be my next question regarding nutrition. Everyone think, not everyone, there's a high percentage of people that think, because I'm putting in the mileage and training, that I can eat anything.
No,
That's
it
not the
doesn't work
case.
that way.
Yeah.
And
Your cells need to be healthy.
exactly, right? And the program that you're putting together for 8 weeks, if you're going to put in this hard work twice a week and probably end up doing it three, maybe 4 times a week, you're just going to defeat yourself, your body, your mind, and soul to prepare you for this event. And then it kind of like, I know personal trainers get discouraged because they're saying, I'm giving you this effort, I'm giving you all the points, and you're not putting in the time. So how can you encourage the average person who wants to take on an event like this?
I would just say, like, to begin with, I feel like we eat lots of junk. It's just like things all over the place. I would encourage anyone starting any program really just to take that part out. Start there, because I believe that's something more manageable rather than saying, okay, let's go low carb for a week. Take out the junk. Take out the soda. Take out the chips, the random snacks that come into the office. Get rid of that to start, and that will be a really good starting point.
That's a good point.
Is 8 weeks enough?
8 weeks is a start.
She's honest. Yeah,
8 weeks is a start.
Yeah.
They will definitely notice a difference in their body and their fitness level once they complete the program, especially if they really
commit
give it
to it. Yeah.
How often?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
How often does the program on a week-to-week basis change? Because some people get used to, we're going to do this particular drill on Mondays between this time and this time, and then we do this and this time. So it becomes a stagnant regimen. How often does it change?
I think that's where the success of my classes have happened, is because we are always changing. I don't feel like you need to do the same type of bicep curl. So, like, let's just say if you did a bicep curl standing, tomorrow you may do one sitting, or then the next day you'll do one with one leg up. So we're just trying to add some variation to it. There's no fun knowing what you're going to do when you go to the gym.
Right. Oh, okay.
For those who want to take it to a new level, there's some that say, I want to do the 8-week program, but I want to do it like from the start, saying that I need to do it 3 times a week or 4 times a week because it's already in shape. Are you offering that open possibility of?
Yes, definitely.
Going
We
from the
do
top?
run other classes. At the moment, my Tuesdays and Thursdays are full. But however, once they're done with the 8-week program, there will be another program starting. So they definitely will have the opportunity to sign up for more days.
What's it been like, the response? You said the event is on, well, not the event, but your starting program is the 26th, you said?
Yes.
Right. So that's only a couple of weeks away. What's the response been like thus far?
I think we're just starting our advertising
Okay,
now.
okay,
Yeah.
got you.
You heard it
You're
first,
number
folks.
one.
Right.
And I'll remind you, there's only 15 spaces on this course, so
Only
this
15?
is really a
Only
first
15.
in, first served.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll talk about it every time on Inside Sports Talk Radio
Yes.
for you.
Until we fill up.
It's going to be filled by Monday,
I love it.
before the 26th.
Then we'll start a second one.
Yeah, you may have to. You may have to. Let's take a commercial break and we'll be back after this.
like it.
FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baster.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio with Vicky Abraham and Betty Doling here. Joining us in studio as the ITU 2019 is just around the corner, 77 days left. I think Vicky says she's going to compete this year, Earl, as a spectator. Got you, see?
I like that.
You like that one?
I like
Like
that.
that.
I'm gonna
Pause.
use that. Can I use that?
By all means
Compete
necessary.
as a spectator.
As a spectator.
Yeah.
See? Pause for you. There you go. Betty, your event or your program gets underway on the 26th of February. For those who are listening right now and want to get in contact with you, please share the information.
They can call me, 533-4451. They can also email me at the letter B as in Betty, the letter B as in Betty, active, ACTIVE, the letter P as in personal, the letter T as in trainer, at gmail.com. So be active.
So just read, just say read that up.
Yeah, be active, PT at gmail.com. Like
As
Betty's active PT.
Right.
Yeah.
You've been training for a number of years.
Yes.
What got you into training? What made you take this level and say, I want to be a personal trainer?
Well, I was, when I was younger, I did gymnastics and track and field. Then when I came to Bermuda, I competed in the bodybuilding and fitness.
Right.
So I did that for a few years, like 6 competitions. And during that time, I was just like, okay, I could just do this because when you're doing it for that long, you're like, I could just do this for work.
Right.
So then that's when I started to get my certification and some nutrition in it as well.
Have you seen your profession change regarding the programs, let's say the weight programming of a person? Because back not years ago, I don't know how long ago, but say 10 years ago, people were doing, let's say, doing the chest and biceps.
Mm-hmm.
They would do the same program for like 3 months. Now they're saying, and then change. Now they're saying no more than 4 weeks.
I think that people now are doing training more for functionality, day-to-day living, where before maybe it was just for aesthetics. I think people need stronger cores, stronger shoulders, things like that, just for everyday life. And I think that that's how training has shifted.
Do you think, as much training has been around, do you think people still need to understand the nutrition? Yes, we talked about it earlier, but how important it is that can take you to the next level. It's not just that the training's getting you there, but your nutrition plan that takes you to that level. Do you think that people are really understanding it? Even a new person, or even a person that's been in the game for a time?
I don't think that people really do. Me personally, I could go to the gym every day and then go home and eat chocolate muffins and cake because I love baked goods. I could eat them all day. But I think that is 80% at least, 75 to 80% nutrition. You can train every day and you get back on the scale or you put your clothes on, you'll be exactly the same because your body needs fuel. If it's not getting it, then it's not going to cooperate.
And when you say fuel, people think they think it's a chocolate muffins or peanut butter muffins or whatever. It's the right type of nutrition. And then you'll see the difference. I'm just going to ask you for an example. When you go off your nutrition plan and you say, I want to have a little junk food, does your intake feel different?
Oh, I'm
your digestive system?
Yes. Like I love nachos, and I kind of had like a Friday night thing, the love affair with them. And then my Friday nights are turning into Saturday night and Sunday night. So then I notice a difference immediately. Your body starts to swell up with sodium.
Right.
Your hands feel puffy. When you get out there to run or just to walk, your body just feels heavy. You don't feel like you are your normal fit self, or even just wherever you're at that moment. Right.
And so then your training is a little different on the weekend as opposed to the weekday.
Yes.
So how were you able to say, I can't do this on Friday, Saturday, Sunday? How did you cut out that nutrition?
Oh, I just didn't like the way it made me feel.
Yeah.
I was just like, I just can't do this. And another thing, I think a lot of people think, okay, well, I just have to do this. The whole thing is finding a diet that is functional.
Yeah.
If it's not functional, you're not going to stick to it. So like if you're like ketoing or whatever, you're on this keto plan, and if you go off of it, if you can find that and you think that that's functional for you, you're just going to have to stick with it, rather than saying, okay, 6 weeks keto and then I'm back. Where is that?
It's a waste.
Yeah,
it's
so it's just a waste of time.
Just switching over to Vicky. Vicky, it's that time again. People are starting to talk about it regarding the ITU. From Bermuda hosted the first time ever, what was the response from the international athletes by Bermuda putting on an event of this magnitude?
Yeah, that's a really great question. We were polling athletes the day after on the Sunday before they left the island, particularly the visiting athletes, right? And we have testimonials on our website and things that we haven't posted yet, but really, I'm not exaggerating. They said it was one of their best events ever.
Really?
Yeah. And what made it so special for them? The spectators. That is what people kept mentioning. They couldn't believe how heavily lined the streets were with crowds, how well supported they felt. Of course, they loved the natural beauty of Bermuda, which was one of the draw cards in the first place, swimming in the, Hamilton Harbour. We think, oh, there's better places to swim, but for them that was magnificent. And, just being able to run through Hamilton, and it's such a beautiful city when you step back and look at it as a first-time visitor.
Right.
But really, overwhelmingly, they loved the support they felt from the spectators.
I must admit, I recorded on satellite, right? So I looked at it the other day again, and Bermuda looks real beautiful. I must admit, it's really beautiful, right? Yeah. I don't know if we take it for granted, or we just don't realize that we're